Honestly, let's just stop being two-faced people. A while back, there's a saying that my cousin told me, which really intrigued me, where she said, you cannot be out here preaching water, yet you're out here drinking wine. Now, like I said, what she said really intrigued me and it actually kept me guessing, like, what does she mean by what she's saying? And it actually was aligned to something that Jesus said, written in Matthew chapter 10, verses 26, where Jesus says, there is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known. In the sense that whatever you do behind the scenes of your life, which is your private life, should actually match whatever you do in your public life. And you cannot be out here trying to portray a perfect image, yet you know deep down inside you, you are struggling with secret sin, you're struggling with unresolved healing, or you're just struggling with a void that is in you. And if you think about it, this all ties to fakeness. Fakeness that in the sense that if you continue doing this or living by this, where your private life actually doesn't match your public life, it will end up catching up to you to the point that you will actually reveal your true self. That's why Jesus says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So you have to fix your inside. You have to fix what's within you. You have to fix what you're privately struggling with in order for you to actually live a good private and public life. And let's be honest with each other. All of us, we are flawed. All of us, we are imperfect. We have flaws and imperfections we struggle with on a day-to-day basis. That is true and that is a fact. So, we should actually ask ourselves this question. Are we going to allow our imperfections and our flaws to control us, or are we going to allow God to actually help us control our imperfections and our flaws? Because God is perfect. And during my walk with Christ, I came up with a saying that even really intrigued me. Let me not lie. This saying goes as follows: imperfection is made perfect when someone or something imperfect affects it. In the sense that who is God? God is perfect. And who is God? God is love. So if God's perfect love affects someone imperfect or something imperfect, that person or that thing is tended to actually be put in a state of humility. And I remember there was a podcast that I was watching where this guy said, kindness, like unworthy kindness or undeserved kindness, actually leads to curiosity. So God's kindness and God's love, which is so perfect, will always leave us at a state of curiosity. Why? Because his love is so perfect and he's showing that perfect love towards someone imperfect, which keeps us wondering, why is God doing this yet I live in sin? Why is God doing this yet I, you know? So allow God's perfect love to embrace your imperfections and your flaws. Allow God's perfect love to actually influence your imperfections and your flaws. That will help you to always be in humility and know how graceful and loving He is. And it will even make you want to even love Him more because you know how much He loves you. That is true. So I came up with 3 examples related to the title of this video. And the number one example is anger. Anger in the sense that it does not only cause harm to the people you express anger to, but it also causes harm to self. In the sense that if you're not at peace within yourself, you will express that unpeacefulness in yourself, if that's even a word, towards other people. And that's true. And anger can be caused by a seed of planting the seed of jealousy, ego, pride, resentment, greed, which is caused by lust in your heart. And that's true. Because that's how even Cain killed Abel. Why? Because he planted the seed of jealousy in his heart, which made him become angry at Abel because God acknowledged Abel more than him, which made him hate now God and Abel, which now caused him to kill Abel. So, if any one of you is actually having any form of anger that is in your heart that is caused by jealousy, betrayal, even pride, ego, lust, greed, you have to take that to God. Because even God told Cain before he killed Abel, sin is crouching at your door. So you must master it. So you have to master your anger. You have to master your jealousy. You have to master your ego. You have to master your pride. Any sort of sin that makes you angry, which will make you hate someone, which will make you do something impulsively, that will make you end up living a regretful life within 5 years or 10 years, because 5 seconds of an impulsive action can make you live a life of regret within 5 years or 50 years, can actually cause you to go down the drain. It can actually cause you to either be killed, be in jail, or even kill yourself. So you have to now master whatever sort of anger that is built up in your heart, and you have to take it up to God and tell God to replace that anger that is caused by jealousy and all those other examples that I have given with His love. Because at the end of the day, love is patient, love is kind, it does not boast, it does not envy, it is not self seeking, it does not rejoice in evil but rejoices in the truth. It never fails, it protects, it is always believing. Because love is the most purest form, and it is the language that is in the kingdom of God. So, my second example, based off the title of this video, is lust. Lust, in the sense that if you continuously struggle with lust privately, it will manifest itself publicly by you viewing people based off what they are and not who they are. In the sense that you will view people as objects, playthings, and toys instead of humans, people in general, and sons and daughters of God. Because that's what lust is. Lust is selfish. Lust always relies on instant gratification. And love is selfless. Love is patient. It is not self seeking. So you actually now have to actually train yourself to watch what you actually watch and what you listen to, because that will perverse your mind and it will manifest something lustful in your heart, which will end up affecting you publicly. And especially if God blesses you with wonderful people, especially a spouse that is actually in God, like someone you have actually been praying for, but you still struggle with lust in your singleness, you will end up self sabotaging that relationship, in the sense that you will cheat on your partner directly or indirectly. Directly, in the sense that you will commit adultery. That's why Jesus says, if you view a woman in your heart lustfully, you have committed adultery in your heart. And he also, I mean, also like indirectly, in the sense that if you do not um, get rid of your porn and masturbation addiction, you will end up doing so in your relationship. So you have to now take that up to God. You have to tell God to replace any form of lust that is in your heart with His love. Because the main reason why people tend to lust over things and people is because they are replacing an eternal void with external things. And that will never work. That will always lead to your demise. So tell God to replace that void that lust is consuming and taking in with His love, because His love, like I said, is not self seeking and it is selfless. The third and final example, based off the title of this video, is consuming drugs. Consuming drugs, in the sense that if you do so privately, especially with people who you know are bad for you, it affects you publicly through addiction. Addiction, in the sense that you have now trained your body to become a slave to the drug. You cannot live life without the drug. You have to function with the drug, whether it's you being social with people around you, and even in your workplace, in your job place, or even when you're in school. You cannot live without it. You have to like actually like do something, even the slightest as talking to people with it. That's if you're seriously addicted to it. And the second thing that it tends to do to affect you publicly is financially. It drains you financially. You become financially unstable. Why? Because you have now become a slave to it. You have become addicted to it. And we all know that drugs are very costly. Drugs cost a lot of money. So we should actually self control ourselves, and we should actually be sober minded when it comes to it, because it will end up influencing ourselves financially. And the third and last one is it affects you relationally, in the sense that it affects your relations with people around you, it affects your relation with yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, and psychologically. So each and every day of your life, you should actually ask yourself this question: if a camera was following you everywhere 24/7, will it capture good footage of you privately and publicly, or will it actually capture bad footage of you privately and publicly? Bless.